What's up guys, welcome back to Fancy Goldfish Fanatics. Today we're here in Banstead in Surrey doing episode 3 of our Tank Tours series, so make sure you stay tuned to find out more. Hey Fanatics family, welcome back. Remember to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can keep up to date with our future uploads. Today, as you can see right behind me, we are shooting this lovely 1,000 litre fancy goldfish tank, which will be episode 3 to our tank tour series. There's also going to be a part 2 for this video, so make sure you watch out for that one. So without further ado, I'm going to get John on the camera and he's going to give us a little bit of information and an overview of his fancy goldfish tank. So first up, John, hopefully you can tell us a little bit about the size of your tank and how it's all set up.
Yep, Chris, it's 1,000 litres, sump filter and mixed fancies. I've been keeping fish since too long to remember.
Can you tell us how your filtration is set up, the different medias you use, and maybe a little bit about flow rate?
Yeah, the filter is a sump filter, as I previously mentioned. Has a mixture of materials in there, from simple floss that I can just take out and throw away when I need to do the change. There's also then Japanese mat and alpha grog. A complete clean out of the filter only happens maybe twice a year. Other than that, it's just general weekly maintenance. Water changes every week, maybe twice a week, depending on what's happening. If some of the fish are spawning in the tank, then there's a lot more water changes needed.
So thanks for telling us about your filtration. Now could you go into what you feed your fancy goldfish and maybe how often? They're all looking really nice and fat and healthy.
I feed them numerous times during the day. I'm fortunate that I work from home, so they can get fed, more than just the one feed. It's a mixture. I'm a firm believer that to stay on one food, if I was fed steak and chips every day, I'd get very bored. So I like to vary their diet. I have a mixture of sinking pellets. Vitalis is the one I tend to use the most. Lots of bloodworm, Daphnia. Also occasionally flake food. I don't have a problem feeding that occasionally. I wouldn't feed it all the time, but when you see the way it gets into the water column, you see the fish chasing it, and it's quite good for them as well.
Thanks for that little overview. Can you now tell us why you went for a planted tank? We tend to see a lot of tanks that are quite bare bottom, which are a lot easier to clean, but yours is quite different from the rest, so maybe you can give us a little bit of information about that.
Now, the tank's actually situated in my dining room, so it needed to be something that looked a little bit more decorative than just the bare bottoms tank. I can really appreciate bare bottom tanks, and I can see the benefits of, when you're grooming the fish to their largest capacity, it's a much easier tank to keep clean. But I like to see gravel on the bottom. I don't have a problem with the fish mouthing at the gravel and spitting it out. It's a natural behaviour for them, and I haven't actually lost a fish through them swallowing gravel. So the plants just add to it, and these plants have been in here now for, must be nearly 4 years.
And so finally, John, what would you change about your tank or your setup if you could start from scratch and money was no object?
Possibly two things. I'd love to have a completely plumbed in system. So rather than doing water changes of having to siphon it out through the window, I just turned the stopcock and allowed the tank to flush through. And also, I'd improve the lighting.
So I'd like to thank John for coming on the camera and doing that little overview for us. Hopefully you've also seen I just dropped off the Sakura Aranda. She's had a little bit of harassment from one of the males trying to spawn with her, so she's a little bit subdued. And now we're also going to get a few of his feature fish and a few fish that he wants to look over, and we're going to put them in a little viewing tank and do a little bit of analysis on them. So first up, John has brought out his Tricolor Aranda, which actually won the Fancy Goldfish Fanatics virtual show. If you missed that show, we will be having a winter show as well, so keep an eye out for that one. and hopefully John will give us a few little comments about one of his favourite fish.
This is fondly known in the family as Princess. Only had her a short while really, and came from Pimmy from TH Goldfish. Absolutely stunning Thai Aranda.
The tail is absolutely lovely on this fish, and it's a perfect fish in my eyes. And as you may know, I don't really like Arandas, but this is a lovely, lovely fish.
In my years of keeping fish, I always feel that they have a number of qualities. A fish can be fin perfect but lack presence. This fish has fin perfect and has a presence. She knows she's pretty.
Yeah, absolutely stunning fish. And she looks like she's held the black quite well and it hasn't started to fade. I think that's called demelanisation, or...
Yeah, the black has stayed pretty solid. What I will do, when the weather warms up, because it's very cold this year compared to most years, she will go and spend at least 2 to 3 months in the outside pond.
Awesome. And we will be showing that pond in a future video, maybe in around 3 months or so, once the weather's a lot warmer. We'll be doing a little episode on that as well. So that's all for this fish. We're going to get her back into the main tank and have a look at a couple more. And here we have another one of his lovely Arandas with a really, really big wen growth on top. Nice contrasting red and black on the wen as well. Got some nice fins on this fish as well.
This fish came from Star Fisheries. I've had her about almost 3 years now. She's gone a little bit, the black has lessened slightly this year, but once she goes out into the pond for the summer, and she comes in maybe October, November time, she will be black again. Unusual bonnet as well.
Yeah.
The growth is all on the top, and I quite like her. It's a real good bonnet.
Looks like she's wearing a big hat.
As I say, came from Andy at Star Fisheries.
Very nice fish. And all of the fish that we see today, I'll be putting links to all the websites of the companies in the description, so you can just have a little look down below for those. Let's get her back into the main tank and then we can have a look at another one. As you can see here, this is one of John's top red and white Rancho. Lovely, lovely fish. I reckon it must be about 5 inches. Really nice quality, this one.
This one came from Northants Goldfish through Steve. Beautiful fish, very chunky, beautiful peduncle. When you even view it from the top, it has a nice shape to it as well, which a lot of side view Rancho tend to lose it from the top, or vice versa. This one's kept it all. Bit more wen growth, I think it'd be a beautiful fish.
And John was just telling me when he handles his Rancho, he holds them upside down when moving them. Hopefully he can show us now. And they just struggle a little bit less. And you can see how docile, oh, well, maybe not. But they're normally quite docile, and also it doesn't damage any internal organs, and it's a nice way to hold the fish to prevent any damage. So our fourth and final fish here is a lovely Calico Rancho. One of my favourite Rancho that John owns, actually, this one.
Yeah, this one also came from Pimmy, TH Goldfish. I went for this one purely because it invokes some childhood memories. There was a book, well, not childhood, but when I was younger and into fish keeping, there was a goldfish book that had a beautiful Calico Rancho on its front cover, and I searched and searched as a youngster and could never find one, and this was as close to how it looked that I could remember, so it was a case of I had to have her.
Very nice. It's more of a Kirin style, I'd say slightly Kirin style of calico.
Yes.
Some Sakura style scales in it as well.
Beautiful body shape, got a lot of character, haven't determined the sex yet.
hopefully in the years to come John might spawn this one. It'll be quite interesting to see the offspring of this one. Lovely little fish. So we're going to get her back and then I'll wrap up the video, and also make sure you stay tuned for part 2 that will be coming out in a few days time. That's all for this video. I'd like to thank John for giving us a little bit of analysis on those fish, and also giving us a little overview on how he runs his tank and the way it's set up. We're going to be filming part 2, which will actually be coming out in 3 days. For part 2, we're going to be filming his fish shed outside, and we're going to be looking at some of his youngsters and the small fry that he's got, which is really exciting, and it will be the first time on the channel that we've actually had some fry. And also we will be able to see my male that he's currently holding, hoping to spawn. It's taken a little bit longer than we hoped, but hopefully in maybe a few weeks, a month, we'll finally have some fry. So thank you all for watching. Remember to keep those water changes up, and happy fish keeping.